what? I'm gonna start recording, and Sam, you can record as well, and hopefully, if one of them runs into trouble, the other one has it. All right, Sam.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to hit record now.
But I
Please
guess
ask
I.
the host to give
All
you
right.
permission
So
to record.
how do I? I'm gonna make you co-host. That should give you the permission to record. Is it giving you the? Can you do it now?
Yep, this meeting's being recorded.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So, Sam, can I put the, yeah, let's record it for now and then we'll decide. So while we are talking, I'm gonna also type on WhatsApp so that we also have a written form of what we have talked about, for the sake of those who couldn't join and also myself remembering what I said. All right. So, question number one. Our group was very big. Now there are only 7, 8 people in there. Can someone tell me what's happening? The WhatsApp group.
I don't know.
Has it changed?
Yeah, look at the WhatsApp group. We had a whole bunch of people in there, and now it's only like 7, 8 people there. I think the number was much bigger. Now, if there's nothing significant about it, then I wouldn't fuss about it. I just got surprised because I used to scroll down and up to see every name, but now I see a smaller list, I think. That's fine. Let's move on.
I don't think so. Who
Yeah.
left the group?
I don't know. My understanding was that our group was much bigger. Like we were one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine from the very beginning. Ever the super group was created, since the super group was created, we were only 9 people.
I think that's right
Yeah, we're
because
9 people.
yeah,
Oh, okay. Then it was my
Yeah,
hallucination.
yeah. So I'm just yeah. So it's yeah. So I'm just yeah. It says 9 participants in my thing.
Yeah.
It's a so yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, we are 9.
and oh, somebody said Ruma. I am trying to join but can't. Is on WhatsApp.
Let me see. Can you try to what can we do? Maybe I can what else can we do? Why can she not? Let me send the link. Then, then, um,
So what are we doing? What should I, for example,
yeah,
do?
very
Or
good idea. So I noticed that Laura, you guys, a group of you who were working on the code, you kind of already have a paper kind of thing for that part of the job.
yeah. So we just typed up everything we've done so far. Um, like I think we messaged right. So before we did that presentation in class,
Uh huh.
we sent the professor what we had typed up so far because I think he had asked for an update. I can't remember. Um, so that's just everything up to that point. So we can just build on that and add all the new things and add more detail where necessary. So
Right. So
like
there is a
seasonality
present.
and
Go ahead. Keep going. Sorry.
things like the seasonality and the optimization aren't there yet. But like those are still working. And I think, we'll just add in those 2 new sections. And then if I guess we probably will have some kind of section on a more detailed like data analysis, since that was a big part as well. And just we can talk about that and everything, kind of like all the stuff you guys talked about in your presentation. We can have a section on that.
Perfect. So let me recap what you said. So you guys had a presentation. On that presentation, you kind of updated the prof what has been done so far. Now, am I right?
Yeah, so he asked us for something. I can't remember what exactly. So we sent him the document and then he asked us to present what was in the document.
All right.
This was
So
for the
Geneva,
projections, right? Oh, sorry.
go
yeah,
ahead.
you go ahead, Geneva.
Yeah, I was just saying this was for the I was just saying this was for the exponential projections, like the short and long term ones that we did, and then from there we kind of had the we had the sections on the draft paper about the seasonality that we are gonna add on like around this time.
Yeah.
But
So
that's what we sent the prof before.
Right. So there's a draft paper that you guys have about the projection and the seasonality. Is that right?
Yeah. And
Good.
all of you have access to that, I'm pretty sure.
All right. I'm not sure because I'm not sure if I have access to it.
So it's on the overleaf that everyone was added to at the very start. Pretty sure.
All right. So here's the thing. What is in that paper that the ones I've honestly never seen it, but I mean I saw it in the presentation when Inayat was presenting to the prof.
Oh, that's a different group.
Okay, so yeah, I'm being confused between so many things I think then. So there's a draft for the big group.
Mommy, I can't hear my car.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
so
Brayden. I'm working and you have to find a way. Go grab your headphones from the bedroom, okay? Sorry, guys.
It's called Practicum Supergroup, I think.
Yes.
Check. I think that's it. Is it right, Janina?
Yeah, it's that one.
All right.
Yeah, so currently that's a 28-page document because of all the plots that are in it. And I think a lot of them are in the appendix.
Good. Now, what is needed? What do we need to add to it? So we have a presentation for this supergroup. We have a presentation and we have a draft of a report. Now I
Yeah,
want.
but both of these things are only covering the projections that we did weeks ago. So both need to be updated with everything we've done since.
Good. So updating the presentation and the draft
I could not find
and
my
the draft. Good.
I could
Perfect.
not find my headphones.
So point number one.
I
It's
did
on
not
the
find-
mama nightstand right right beside our bed. Thank you. Sorry, guys.
on the table.
Yes, on the table next to our bed. Sorry, guys. So what was I saying? All right. So this is one thing. These are two things we need to do. Updating the presentation, updating the draft. Now, on the draft, what do you say? Everything that has been done in the last 2 weeks needs to be added to the draft?
More than 2 weeks, really. So I think I'm not sure. Like we can always refine it as we go. I think my kind of approach to these things is it's always easier to have too much stuff and then cut it down if we need to
Okay.
try and add stuff. So I think like anyone can talk about what they did in the document. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. And then we can start to weave it into a story because how it's currently written, I think is leaning towards the story because we talk about doing the
Well, then this one.
projections and then we talk about the fact that this leads us to want to investigate seasonality. So it really opens the door for that section of the document. And I think like talking about the data and the optimization should be able to fit in quite easily as well.
Perfect. So, all right. So what I'm hearing is that we can add a bunch of information at the parts that we have done, and then at the end we're gonna try to smooth it out and make a story out of the whole thing.
Yeah, because he wants this to be research paper standard to some degree. So I guess we need to firstly write down, I guess, everything we did, but then we don't need absolutely everything
Of course.
in the end. But I'm not sure, like, we could probably submit to him everything and then he can tell us how to cut it down. But these are things we can discuss when we have more information in the document.
Perfect. So do you guys think, do you and the rest of the people think that we could aim for having a draft of it by Tuesday to give some feedback and hear what we need to remove or add? Or does
I'm
it too-
personally not going to be able to do
No.
any project work until
Okay.
Wednesday.
All right. Anybody else would wanna contribute to the paper, to the draft by Tuesday, so that by Tuesday, since he said he's gonna be available, we could get some feedback. Anyone?
I think we can add on like at least like the little bits about seasonality that that have been presented like last week, and is it last week or 2 weeks ago? But like like the recent the recent presentation on seasonality, we could have that in, like, we could have that in the draft too, like after, like right after the exponential projections. Because I'm looking at the subsections, like the analysis, and there's one, like the first thing we did was the phase 2 reopening. Then there's a line that says, we include these projections based on this scenario as a means of justifying our curiosity in investigating the seasonality. And then I guess you can anchor it from there for the next chapter, like what all the analysis they've done with, like the statistical analysis they've done, we could put that into.
All right.
And I do think
As a
it fits
start.
in very well because like the projections we've done have been about reopening. So that's what leads us to this story of why we want to find an optimal reopening strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. So I could definitely put that in after, like after the earlier projections that we have right here. But yeah.
All right, so does it mean like we are doing it or we are not doing it?
Doing what?
Sorry, I lost it at some point. I lost my focus. When
I
Geneva,
guess the point is like we need to update the document
yes,
obviously for the final project. I guess like we can all do as much as we can when we can, I suppose.
of course.
Like if we want to have a draft for Tuesday, like I suppose it's possible, but the thing is like he's already seen these 28 pages. So if we want his advice on everything, I think we'd need a significantly different document to send to him to be worth his time to read it again to give us more advice.
No, very good call. I totally
Because if
agree.
we're only adding like a paragraph, the document he's already read,
Of
I think
course.
I'm not sure if that's like a fair use of his time.
No, I understand. So,
But there are like, so some easy ways to do this quickly would be to say that Feng Ling's presentation, everything she has there is all information that's important in the project as a whole and for the final presentation. And the same with the slides you've made, Guangha, for the optimization. All of that is really important information, and like I think you can copy and paste everything you've said, like as much as you like, you can copy and paste to the document and to a final presentation, and we can just do it like that for the time being, because you know everyone has their own things that they've written and you don't want to duplicate the work. So I think that would be fine.
all right. So basically, Guanhua and Feng Ling will be adding their part to the presentation and also the draft.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we can all contribute to it as well.
So, if we are supposed to contribute, how is that possible? How can we? So, let's say I'm gonna say, Laura, I want to help them during that piece. What can I do? Or maybe I should ask Guanha, how can I help you guys in that process of moving things?
I think like, yeah, sorry.
Go
you
ahead.
Continue.
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. So I mean, like for now, I don't want like to waste your folks' time. I know like everybody is like overpacked, but yeah, I would say I will collaborate with I will call Feng Ling like maybe later. I will do the optimization part first, and for the seasonality or the causal inference part, I will do like most of the theoretical and the coding part there. If you guys don't mind, may you send me the overleaf link again? I cannot like find our like specific page. I'm sorry about that.
Same here, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spyros needs to do that because he is the owner.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Or
I will remind him. I will remind him to do it today.
Yeah.
So yeah,
yeah.
go ahead, sir.
So yeah, I will come. I will do like I will do like a maybe like a first version or second version of the draft, and I'll ask Fengling to add more like meat into the like more content into the like the there. And after that, I may ask you to maybe to read it or and basically to sharp the words, to add more like your thoughts, something like that. But I
Like a
mean, like for now,
proofreading. Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like for now, I don't think you should waste your time there. Yeah.
Then there would be no waste. That would be just a team helping each other. But sure. So you guys
Yeah.
are gonna copy the stuff, and then any proofreading is gonna be done by the rest of the group, and then we decide on if there any changes needs to be done on
Yeah.
just anything
Yeah,
if needed.
something like that.
And
Yeah.
like overall, this is all of our projects. So, you know, we all need to be reasonably happy with what we're saying and the story we're telling. So everyone's input is valuable in like getting it to the final point. And then another thing, I'm wondering if we should add more detail then on this data analysis to explain just a little bit about how we did and what we did.
The analysis part of the
Yeah, so-
seasonality, or
No, just all the stuff so the stuff you talked about and Sam and Mahmuda, would that be useful to have a section in the document as well?
sure. And even though we are not focusing on these specific regions, do you think it would, or talking about this stuff, but about the regions that we are focusing on? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure.
I think what you're trying to say is like, I guess like data collection, data analysis in general, like why you chose to use why you chose to plot it, to plot the log of cases over time instead of just the cases, like the stuff that the prof has been asking
I see what you're
for
saying.
every
Yes.
presentation, and
Good,
like
good.
just a small blurb.
Sorry, then we have to show the plots for the 4 regions, because we 3 are doing 9 different public health units. So we'll consider only the 4 one, the Durham, Toronto, Peel, and
York.
York. Yeah. What are you thinking? Because
I'm actually not sure yet. The problem is any of the seasonality and, well, maybe seasonality will look at different regions, but the optimization at the moment, we've only talked about doing it for the 4 regions. And that's not to say the other ones won't come in, because this is why we did it, right? Because we want to say that we can do all of these things for all of the regions. And that's why we have all this information. And the idea is we have all these codes. So it's just a case of putting in the data that you have on your spreadsheets into the other codes. So I don't think what we've done is specialized. We've just shown the information for those regions. Like we could include some kind of conversation or some plots from the other regions, because that could justify, again, certain things we're talking about, like seasonality. I'm not sure about optimization. It depends, like, on how you would want to say it.
All right. So so what I'm hearing is that the amount of work that has been done on other regions would be transferred to the paper. And we say that even though the focus has been on these 4 regions, these other regions could be treated similarly and studied furthermore.
Yeah, because the point is, like, that's what we plan to do. It's we haven't had enough time. So it's still useful to say, because it's still all being done. Like, there's still all these, do we have 27 public health units that we have this all done for? Maybe it's less, but like that's still a lot of analysis that's been done. And it is important to mention at least, that's there and we can use that because the codes are important, but the code needs the information from the analysis to work.
So Laura, we may explain that is we studied 27 public health unit, but here we are just explaining the 4 public health unit or regions. Is it okay, or you're thinking anything else?
To be honest, I'm not sure yet because I don't know. It depends what regions we use for seasonality and for optimization as well. So for optimization, I think we've talked about just using the 4, but for seasonality, it could be different. Because the idea, again, was for seasonality, we wanted to make sure that we had a large enough sample, and that was a lot of the reason for doing as many of the units as possible, to have something that could be statistically significant. If the seasonality was only, like if we based our results on just 4 units, that's not a very statistically sound thing to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I'm not sure if the seasonality people are. So what you're trying to say is that maybe for the seasonality we need to focus on more regions other than just the 4?
Well, that was the point from the start. That's why we did all this with the data.
Of course.
That we would have it ready for the seasonality. Yeah, I think we can definitely mention all the other units then, because even if we don't get enough results for seasonality, it's still part of all the work that went into it, and it's still the plan of what we would do going forward.
All right, good. So basically we are gonna present the work done for the other units as well. And then this would be the discussion part that further on this paper could be, or this research could be continued doing the same thing that we have done for these regional health units, these units to the other units. Okay, good. So basically we are adding, what I'm hearing is that we are adding the work done on the other regions as well. Adding the work done on the other regions to the, now are we adding this only to the draft, or do we also mention it in our presentation? Maybe at the beginning of the presentation we can say, okay, so for all these units we have done this and this and this and this, and then we decided to focus on these 4 units and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but even so with what Fengling talked about last week, the first 2 units that you guys looked at, or Guangha and Fengling, was Ottawa and Peel. So that's already 1 unit that's outside the 4.
True.
Know, so I think I'm not sure, to be honest. It really depends on how long the presentation is supposed to be, because did he say this? Did he say 20 minutes, or am I making that up?
Oh, I hope it's not 20 minutes.
think
20
he
minutes
did
is
say
too short.
Yes, 20 minutes, yes, as I can memorize. I'm not confident, but 20 minutes, yes.
Geneva, you also heard 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, but I don't remember if that's the lower limit or the upper limit. It just said 20 to something.
I think 20 would be very short for the group.
Me too. I think 20 is way too short. Shall I email him right now and ask?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that way, go ahead.
Yeah, because how many slides we have depends on how long the presentation is going to be. So yeah.
Right. So Sahar is gonna email the prof asking about the length of presentation.
I just thought of another thing about the seasonality and how and the methodology behind it, because they specifically picked regions wherein one region is still in the same restriction for some amount of time, to say Peel, right?
Yeah.
And then on the other half you have Ottawa, which had these shift after let's say 2 weeks. So with some public health units not having, I mean, like some of their changes don't happen until like fairly late, and some of them don't even change at all. Like the ones with like very, very small number of cases, they're like, I'm thinking there wouldn't be a chance that all of the public health units we looked at would be like would like would be considered.
Right. It would
Or
be a
is that
good
just me
case to.
misinterpreting?
Right, right. No, I hear you. I think so.
Just
So
me.
let me see if I'm following what you're saying. What you're saying is that based on the number of cases in different units and how big of a data we have, not every unit could be useful for our seasonality research. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because I think it was Hastings that which was green the entire time. So how can you so I was thinking like what region would you compare it against if another, let's say, I don't know, like Peel, which was also red the entire time. Like sure, they're two different restrictions, but they're not. I mean, first of all, they don't start at the same restriction level to begin with, and second, they don't change the restriction at the same time, or even like they don't change the restriction at the same time, if not at all. So there would be some like there is a possibility that some like the small case regions would not even be used
Yeah,
in the seasonality analysis,
they would
unless
probably.
unless I'm misinterpreting the methodology, or unless there's something that I'm missing in terms of
Guanhua,
like how they get
yes, maybe Guanhua
the
could help us
yeah.
here. Do you think that our understanding and what Geneva says, I'm in the same page. Do you think that's the right way of looking at it, or do you think we are missing?
You mean the seasonality?
Yes, yes, about how we thought some regions wouldn't be a valid case of for our research because the example that Geneva said, she said it better.
Yeah. So let me maybe explain the approach a little bit. Since like last time it's my fault, I missed the first half of the lecture. So yeah, basically the approach Fengli and I will adopt it is a so-called causal inference, and it's a causal inference on a time series analysis. The idea behind it is you have two time series data. For example, we have Peel region and Ottawa. And at one time point, and I mean like we chose those two since they have both of those two regions have significantly amount, which is like for example more than 50 infections. And at one time point, the policy changes, and this is the so-called some outside intervention. And once the intervention happened, we expect there will be some change in the number of infections over time. So that's the only limitations of this methodology. Basically, they both of the like at one time I mean for example in like 30 days time period, at one day, for example like at day 15 or like day 20, something changed, and we expect to observe some change starting from that time point. It's maybe the policy change from, for example, stage 2 to stage 3, or from stage 3 to stage 1, something like that. But as long as there's some change, technically the methodology should be able to quantify the the intervention. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So yeah,
So you mentioned, so sorry, you mentioned something about like you chose those regions because there's significant number of cases. Did I get that right?
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so so basically this whole analysis, you wouldn't like you wouldn't necessarily apply it to regions where there are, let's say, like at most 10 cases a day for like and mostly sparse.
Exactly.
Is that right? Oh, okay.
That's
I
true.
think in any case, though, when there's a region that has so few cases, there's not even enough data to use any kind of approach with it,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't seem like, you know, you can try and do things, but because when there's so few cases, any small change would cause a big change in the cases, if that makes sense.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Like, I think there's two sides to it as well, though. Like, for example, if you had a region that stayed in the same phase for a long time, and this is like a completely different idea and it does not fit into the current methodology at all, but if it stays in the same phase, like green for 2 seasons or more, that could be useful in seeing if there's a change in the, I guess, the growth rate as the seasons change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you're talking about
Yeah, that makes
the only variable, if the only variable is the season, then that is optimistic that there could be some way to infer something about the seasonality in that sense too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I understand it pretty better now.
Mm.
Mhm. Thank you.
For sure. All right. So, getting back to the list, thank you for the explanation, Guanhua, and thank you for the discussion about it,
No worries.
Laura and Geneva. Thank you for your inputs.
Wait, I'm sort of just confused about. So each of us is going to have to do a 20-minute presentation.
No, it's per group.
Group presentation.
Okay, so it's just one presentation.
Yes.
Okay, Ace, and we just put in representatives for that presentation.
We don't even know what we're gonna put in there for sure. Like, we haven't decided how much material is gonna be in there. I guess after we figure how long we have for the presentation and how much material we're presenting, then maybe we can decide about if we're all going to be involved in the talking part, or some of us, or all of that. So I think that that answer would have to be given after we know more details.
And so we just we're just going to contribute to just the write-up of a document and stuff, right?
For now, we are all contributing to the document and the presentation, like the slides itself. And then until we know if we are all gonna talk, or only some of us, or all that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let me make sure that so far I've got what we have kind of talked about. Updating the presentation and the draft. These are the things that we need to do. Adding the recent presentation on seasonality to the presentation and the draft. And then, which is going to be by Guanhua and Finling, and then we are all going to kind of proofread it and discuss it within the whole group as well. Spiridon is going to resend the Lardlift draft to us, please, again. And adding to the work done on the other regions. Oh, okay. So adding the work done on the other regions to the, maybe I'm going to write to the draft for now until we know how long the presentation is going to be, right? And then I'm gonna email the prof asking about the length of the presentation before we can decide how much more we want to add to it. Sam is sharing the recorded video of today's talk or discussion meeting. All right, so getting back to the draft. Now that we don't know much about presentation, let's focus a little bit more on the draft. So we are kind of adding what's been done on the other regions, and shall each person who has done their own 3 regions add that part, or how does that work? What do you think? What do you guys think should be added? The other regions, the stuff done on the other regions. We also want it to be coherent. So any idea? Anyone?
For the other regions?
Yes. Yeah, other than the 4, we have like so many other regions that we have worked on. and we talked about how to mention the work that has been done on those as well so far.
I would suggest first just see what you want to say about what you've done and type it up, and
Okay.
we can like talk about it and weave the story together afterwards, because the point is once there's stuff there we can edit it. When there's nothing there, it's hard to know
Understand.
if it looks
Create.
right.
All right. So each one of us is going to add the 3 regions that they have done, whatever they think it's important to mention about those 3 regions. And then at the end, we're going to make one coherent story and remove and add whatever. Okay. So each person adding the steps on their 3 regions to the draft. Is that fair to say? Yeah. Thank you.
Geneva, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, I think it's yeah, you're right about you're right about being like it's like it being better to have the stuff like placed on paper first before deciding which ones to keep rather than already thinking about what to put first. So yeah, I think if yeah, I think if it doesn't have to be like a long explanation for each of the 3 public health units, as long as and there could there is going to be definitely some overlap because we all did the same, like we all use the same methods in going through the health units. But if there's something if there's something significant about those health units, and maybe we can put that in there and then see whether it fits the
We could
general.
also get inspired by different point of views. Everyone working on 3 regions, they have probably translating the whole work in one way in their mind and then putting it on paper, and then some other person looks at it from another point of view. So what I'm trying to say is that just seeing all those wordings from different people's minds, it would help us find the maybe easiest way of, or the best way of putting it all together. I don't know. So should I say each person adding the steps on their 3 regions to the draft, or should I say, what should I say for this step? Geneva, Laura, Mahmuda, Sam, Guanha. Sorry, I'm calling names, guys. I'm so mean.
No, no. I'm just thinking that is you, me, and Sam is doing the different public health unit. I mean the 3-1. Rest of they are working for the seasonality and some are working for the math lab, isn't it?
Oh, is that correct, Laura? But we have done 20 other regions as
No,
well.
they did. We did the 9, and rest of them did till 27. But my thinking is that whenever the writing one, we 3 can write that what is going on, how we select the exponential one, why we are choosing this thing.
So,
I mean, the main theme that is for the exponential curve for different public health unit, we can write 3 because they are also working in seasonality and mobility one, isn't it?
Laura, Geneva, do you guys agree?
Sorry, I'm distracted. I don't know what you said.
I'm just telling that is the different public health unit what we did, isn't it? That is Sam, me, and Shar. We presented last week and the previous week. So for the optimizations one, we have to make a draft. Then you will go through, or all of we
No,
make a
no.
draft and then.
It's gonna be one draft apparently, Mahmuda. We're all gonna present one draft.
Yes.
But the thing is, um, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. It's all gonna be in one draft.
Yeah. This is one draft, but same thing we have to write, isn't it? That is that we are doing in the same process. So how?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, that was the part that came up exactly. That should we each repeat what we thought was important about the 3 units that each one of us
Yeah.
covered, and then after these are added, we kind of remove and add stuff to it and make it one coherent story throughout the paper,
Yeah.
or what other ways is it to contribute? So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm just.
So what you're saying is that what I'm hearing is that you think each one of us adding what process we made through the 3 units that each one of us were covering would be a repetitive writing because it's the same process. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now,
This is thinking.
I'm
So
sorry. Yeah.
this is my thinking. So what are you thinking, all of you?
So the argument that Laura had was that if we all do it, even though it's the same process, but each person thinks one part of it might have been more important or puts it in a different way of explaining it, then later we could remove whatever we don't need and whatever it's repetitive, but it's better to have more material in there and then remove whatever is not needed rather than not putting things and wait to see what's needed to put in.
Mhm.
If, yeah, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, like, okay, so as you said, we've all done the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone had 3 units and it's the same process for each one.
Yeah.
So yeah, there would be repetition, but the point is, you know, it's still important to mention that. And, you know, as Sahar said, maybe other people would have different things that they pick up on, you know, something that one person forgets, someone else might put in. So the point is, at least if there's more than one person talking about this section, then by the end, we should have enough information that it all makes sense. And then if there's repetition, we can just delete the repeated parts.
All right, so are we agreeing on this part that we will just add the part about our 3 units, and then at the end, at some point, we're just gonna make it pretty and remove whatever is not needed, and get inspired by everything that was needed? Are we agreeing to this? Can I see thumbs up or yes or no?
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Sam, Mahmuda, go on. Yeah, Sam,
Yeah.
thumbs up. Mahmuda, yeah. Okay, good. So this is done. Step 7. All right. Is there anything else that I need to add? I know that I promised you it's going to be a quick meeting. Is it anything else that I need to add for about things that we're going to do from today until next meeting that we're going to have? Is there anything, let's say it this way, Laura, Geneva, I know that you guys have been actively working on that draft. Is it anything I can do to help right now to add to it other than the 3 units part?
I think discussed so far.
Okay,
Yeah, same here. Like we have the 3 units, we have the seasonality, and we have the optimization code. That should be enough for now.
perfect.
And
So
we'll see what
I'm
else we can add after.
perfect. So I'm gonna send out, and now about the next meeting, I know that a couple of us would rather meet during the week. Shall I pick a date now before we all leave? Do you guys think Tuesday morning would be a good idea?
I might not be able to.
Sure, totally understand. You have already been putting so much time into this.
I can't really meet up in the morning on Tuesdays.
I understand. So tell me if there is any day during the week that might work for you guys. Just throw a whole bunch of days at me and I'm gonna pick the one that has more yeses to it.
I can do any time on Monday.
Monday would be a little hard for me. All right. When else?
I'm free, like after Wednesday afternoon, I'm very flexible.
Good.
So-
So after,
From then on, I can meet almost whenever.
all
I-
right.
I-
So this is Laura. Yeah.
I could also meet on any time on Friday.
All right. So Friday anytime would work. Would Wednesday or Thursday would work for you, Sam?
Unfortunately, no. I have
Sure.
stuff for that.
For sure. So, but Friday from morning or evening or anytime on Friday?
Anytime on Friday or Monday.
Friday, Monday, Sam. All right.
Sir,
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
do you have any class this Tuesday?
Who, me?
No.
Oh,
Tuesday-
the prof said I'm going to be here in case you guys have questions. Isn't that what he said?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it's gonna be a working week this week.
So can we work then?
I think Laura couldn't do Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's the problem. I might not be able to.
All right.
Then
That's
any-
okay. Don't stress out. Don't stress out. Okay. So, Mahmuda, what days do you think you could be available?
Friday, yes.
Friday. Okay. Friday, Mahmuda. Friday, anytime?
Yes. Friday.
right.
Yeah, before 5 o'clock is okay for me.
Before 5. Before 5. Laura, do you think Friday would work for you? You said after Wednesday you would be flexible, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Before 5. Good. Geneva, how's your Friday looking like? Yeah, good.
Oh yeah, Friday. Yeah, I'm okay with anytime
Perfect.
Friday.
So I'm gonna say sometime on Friday before 5, right? And then if the schedules changes, if we think for any reason we could meet earlier, I would wish for Tuesday just even a quickie to give update and see how much of the stuff that I mentioned we have done. But since Tuesday is gonna be a hard day, who else is having a hard time on Tuesday other than Laura? Is anybody else gonna have a hard time meeting up on Tuesday?
Mm.
Geneva, you're fine?
I'm okay with like the time, like the time blocked for the lecture. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Like the time that we were supposed to attend the lecture, can we steal 1 hour of that and have a quickie? How about you, Sam? How about you, Guanha? How about you, Mahmuda?
Yes, I am telling you at the beginning that is Tuesday class time
Yes.
because then all of we are free. But if Laura is busy, then we can do it on Friday or any another
Yeah,
day.
I literally won't know until Tuesday
Sure.
time whether or not I
You know what we're gonna do, guys? We're gonna set it for Tuesday class time, and if for any reason Laura's other project or Laura's availability doesn't open up, what we're gonna do, we're gonna at least a smaller group of us meet up then that day, and then we're gonna have another meeting on Friday before 5. How does that sound? Shall we do that?
Wait, so what was the question? And you were asking me, Mahmuda, and
So it was, we have a block of time left opened for our Tuesday lecture, right? Now, on Tuesday, we're not going to have a lecture. So if we could have 1 hour of that block taken for a meeting, I wanted to say if it's
Okay.
going to work for us.
okay, yeah, I can. I don't really have anything planned for Tuesday that
Good,
day.
good. So how about I set it for Tuesday, 2:30,
Yeah.
and then crossing fingers that Laura can join us too. And then Friday before 5.
Sounds good.
Before 5, and they don't have to be long, like 1 hour, and today we are sticking to 1 hour too. Good. All right, guys, so I'm just gonna add the next 2 days that the date for the next meetings, and hopefully other people are gonna put their inputs if they're gonna be able to make it or not, and we're gonna go from there. Sam, can you please take care of posting the video today?
Yeah, I'll try to get it into some form. If it's okay, what email could you guys post an email I could reach one of you at so that you can send it to the WhatsApp?
Sure. So what I'm gonna do, so what you're saying is that you need email address for us so that you could email the video to us?
Yeah, just to one person so that
All right, so video. Oh, so that that person can add it to WhatsApp? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. But wouldn't it be easier if you posted on WhatsApp directly?
Oh, I don't have WhatsApp on my computer, so I'm just.
Oh, I see what you're saying now. Okay, I'm gonna give you my email address.
Could you PM me in WhatsApp for that?
I just left. I'm gonna leave it on that message that I'm typing right now.
Okay.
And on number 6, it says Sam sharing the record video of today, please. And then I'm gonna add my email address right after that sentence.
Okay.
Would that work?
Yeah, that works.
Perfect. All right. So Tuesday 2:30, Friday before 5. Thank you all for showing up and thank you for working hard. We're almost there. Let's do it. All right. Have a good day. Thank you, Laura, for shortening your other meeting to join. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, Shahar.
Yes, dear.
So Sam is there.
Yes, Sam is here too.